also the students. Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sister Sabriya?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. MashaAllah, Yusuf Hasab al Nabi. MashaAllah,
Assalamu alaikum.
taking in from the East Coast. We got Hussein, we got Huda. Oh, MashaAllah. We got Reem, Medina, Rafi. Oh, alhamdulillah, man, we're at full strength today. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna alhamda lillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nastahdihi. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. فمن يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله ثم اما بعد السلام عليكم to everyone that attended and everyone that is viewing this session, this interview, this Frames episode. MashaAllah, I am here with the illustrious ALIM class of 2024, and seeing as though all of them are now back in the comfort of their own homes, they can really tell us what they thought about ALIM. You know, when they were at the program, there was pressure probably to say some nice things. I mean, nobody goes to an end of program formal and says, I just want to say this was horrible. I just want to say I really didn't like this. And secondly, I really didn't learn anything. And thirdly, all of the other students were jerks. Salam alaikum. No, nobody ever does that. But from the comfort of your own home, you might feel at liberty to say what you want to say. So I would love to hear from all of you or anyone who wants to volunteer just some of your post-ALIM reflections, but from home. Because I'm thinking that I heard many of you offer reflections at the end of the program, but this is a little bit different, inshallah. So Hussein, what do you think, man?
Assalamu alaikum, Ustadh.
Alaikum salam.
I wasn't expecting to be called out, but I do have thoughts. I think the first thing that comes to mind is how intentional I had to be about reflecting on my experience coming back home and how I found like it's been challenging to articulate exactly what the experience was like to people who weren't here. So I had a chance to talk to some of the ALIM bros, after, and we get it when we're on the phone, like we can share because we have the same experience. When I talk to like my non-Muslim friends, and they were like, "How was the experience?" And I'm like, I got a different worldview, like it changed me. And like they asked me to elaborate, and all I could say is you have to understand that we were in classrooms with authorities in their fields, like people who have dedicated their life on a subject, and they're trying to translate that into like 4-hour chunks. And I'm trying to talk to you about it in like 10 minutes. There's so much lost in translation. I'm still.
Oh, hey, that was profound. Like, okay, they've studied something for a lifetime. They're trying to convey it to me in 4 hours, and I'm trying to convey it to you in 10 minutes.
Right.
So we've gone from like a lifetime to 10 minutes.
And simultaneously, I'm still digesting it. So that's what it's been like for me. Still processing what I've learned and trying to figure out how to articulate it to the people around me.
Alhamdulillah. And remind me, man, where did you return to?
Bronx, New York.
Bronx, the BX borough. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Huda, what about you? Way up there, where it's cold. It's probably snowing already.
I actually live in the Bay Area in California.
Oh,
Alhamdulillah. I had to move in those 2 weeks. No, I'm kidding. No, it's been. I feel like we all kind of share the sentiment that it's kind of tough to come back to real life, like after being in an intensive. But subhanAllah, I feel like ALIM, and one of the really cool things has been that like coming back, I really had to be intentional about not letting it have just been like an intensive and something that like I got an Iman high and then I came back. And I feel like ALIM isn't that way either. Like that's something that's been really cool, is that it changed how I feel like it's changed how I'm living my real life like my everyday, instead of just being one of those things where you go to a lecture and you kind of like feel that iman high, and then you pray really well for a day, and then you come back home and that's it. So I think it's been really difficult to convey to people. Like for a couple of weeks, I really didn't talk about it that much. I kind of shared like randomly snippets of the program, but I think as I interact with people, as I look at the world, I feel like I'm digesting the information.
MashaAllah. Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh.
There we go.
But yeah, but basically, yeah, I feel like there's some intentionality, and like it's taking a long time to process. Exactly what Hussein said is like we receive so much information, and I feel like it's gonna like process slowly. And I'm trying to be very intentional about how I'm processing that, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, one thing that I think I experienced, because you guys forget, I also attended the program in 2005, which I know is at this point ancient history. You know what I'm saying? But I actually attended the ALIM in 2005. And one thing that Huda said that really resonated with me is that it affected the way I live my real life, right? It's not like, one thing I appreciate, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think something should be dismissed as romantic. When someone describes their engagement with something as romantic, they say that as if romance does not have its place. I mean, to go somewhere that, or to participate in a program, or to enroll in a program that kind of reminds you of the greatness of classical Islam and our, traditional, scholarship and its heritage, and you do walk a little bit higher for a little while. That's a real thing, right? And I think personally, it's good to get that kind of like, again, it's that potent reminder of how things were. But when it comes to that actually impacting my choices on a day-to-day basis, actually impacting how I view the world, kind of those interpretive prisms, those interpretive lenses, that might or might not actually help me, right? Comes to ALIM, what I appreciate is that beyond that kind of nostalgia, right? It's trying to offer some practical, easy to implement, very useful tools, spiritually and intellectually, that one can be served by on a regular basis. MashaAllah. So I appreciate that reflection. Alhamdulillah, I see we were just joined by 16 Ibrahim behind the wheel of a car. Now I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say who, but somebody in this chat was playing basketball with me recently, and all I'm gonna say is I'll let him tell you what happened. That's all I'm gonna say. So I was playing in a basketball tournament recently with somebody in this chat.
He was torturing it, man. Hey, first of all, Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to join late.
No. Yeah, let's not talk about that. 16 Rahim. Ibrahim. Coming back, because I've seen you, mashallah, like a few times.
Alhamdulillah.
Since you returned. You live in Chicagoland, so it wasn't like you returned to somewhere different, but perhaps you returned to normal life. What has your post-ALIM experience been like?
Man, so Assalamu alaikum again. Yeah, I feel like I'm still getting back into the groove. It's been hard, like, because like ALIM was such a unique experience, and it was a bubble of like safety in a way, where it's like I was just about working and school, and just I was just so focused in a way. It brought me some peace. So when I got back, it was actually very humbling, because you just think that you would just be like a whole new person automatically and stuff like that, and you just come back and just like resume right where you left off. It's like, wait, I have a different perspective, but everybody around me has the same perspective as before. So I've been trying to. I haven't got to the point where I've actually brought out any of my the real teachings, but it's more about the intangibles that I've been like trying to share with the people around me. Where it's like I look at things in general differently, but I'm still processing all the like actual intricate information that we learn. But man, I look at life in a different way because like I feel like I got a glimpse of like, a higher level of potential that I could reach. Like just being able to just study Islam for 3 weeks, like in a formal setting, and be around such good brothers, like it it really it brought some like peace to my heart. So I feel like I'm just now getting back into the groove where like at first I had to accept. I was like, the regular world is not always like that. I have to be the one to bring the aspects of the environment that I want to have into whatever situation I'm going. Like it's not always going to be all these Muslims around me. I'm just the only Muslim that I'm around. So I'm trying to do my job as to be the change that I want to see kind of in my circles, because like you know like without being like arrogant from what the knowledge that I've gained, it almost felt like I saw the light, and I want to like bring people towards it. Like look, this is like better for all of us, But it's like I'm not the person who's like, I'm not perfect. So I know the goal is to just implement everything with myself first, and then like then I can worry about like what positive impact I want to make in my world, in my community. But so yeah, I'm still working on like just really implementing the things I've learned and just creating a new version of myself. But man, it's definitely been a humbling experience where like I didn't take for granted ALIM at all. Definitely, I was grateful for that.
Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah, beautiful reflection. And I appreciate that too. All of you have shared just really thoughtful kind of post-program reflections. We want to go now to the woman with the $1 million vocal cords, but she only uses them lillah. She only uses them for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sister Salwa, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ustadh, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. You're back in Connecticut, right?
Yes, back in Kennedy Way. We here.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So, post-ALIM reflections. What are you thinking about? What have you been experiencing? What has your digestion of the ALIM program been like?
SubhanAllah, I knew when I was going into this experience that this was a very unique opportunity, and it's an opportunity that doesn't come across your desk often. And so even coming into the program, I was very anxious and also excited. But now coming back home to my community, which I, am involved in, wear a lot of hats within the Muslim community and within the larger community here. I came back feeling a lot of peace in my heart, and I know a lot of my brothers and sisters have mentioned that peace. So much so to a point that it reminds me of that feeling, not the same, but a portion of the feeling that you feel when you are in Mecca, Medina. That kind of like that groundingness, that kind of fullness. And it made me really understand the power of being in suhbah, right? Being in righteous suhbah, being in a suhbah of seekers. And it really just unveiled the power of that. Coming back from the program, I feel like it's removed my anxiety and clarified my vision as well. For the program, I was very anxious. I work in the entertainment industry as a producer, so I do production work. And there's a lot of anxiety moving through that space, right? Oh, and I had came back and I did a production, and subhanAllah, I was able to navigate it with the knowledge and the tools, right, that we learned from the Sirah, that we learned from Islamic intellectual history, that we learned from, and I could see the significance of the work that I was doing as embedding myself as a Muslim woman into the imagination, right, of my community as somebody who serves, and seeing the power of that. And it revived, and it coming back, I feel like it revived my hope as well. You know, may Allah grant our brothers and sisters in Palestine and all over the world who are facing oppression complete and total victory of their oppressors. I mean, I feel like for me, I was really grappling with as well coming into this program, and also was one of the pushes that directed me towards here was the fact that, you know, our brothers and sisters are going through, right, this oppression. And so ALIM really revived my hope in leaving with what is our mission. And so that has been the question that I've asked myself every day in the things that I'm doing, you know, subhanAllah, that feels like a part of my mission now, like to figure out what is the mission and to cultivate communities around the mission to help them find the mission for themselves, inshallah.
MashaAllah. No, I always feel that knowledge is best served through service. You know, if you have learned anything, it doesn't necessarily mean that one has to become a teacher, but that what one has learned inspires them to give something, to offer other people an opportunity at experiencing a similar clarity, a similar, similar spiritual and intellectual breakthroughs. You know, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on with this production. Post ALIM program. I know if I stepped in the studio and there was a woman in the car on the boards, that would just make my life. I just like, yo, what are we looking at here? Yo, what are we doing here?
That's what I do all day.
This has got to be one of the dopest things I've ever seen in my life. You know, mashallah. So no, Allah bless you and keep you. And we are very happy that you could join us, mashallah. Sister Medina, mashallah. You know, your mom made Umrah with us. But I didn't know, it wasn't until you were facilitating the game at the end of the year, the end of program celebration. And your mom was like, Medina's my daughter. I was like, so get out, because we made Umrah together, mashallah.
Yeah, she was telling me about that conversation. I was laughing. It was
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
A small world.
A small world, but a compliment to her, because I would have assumed that she was too young to be your mom. So post ALIM reflections.
So I think my biggest reflection is not so much about the classes and about the education aspect as much as the feeling. I felt when we were on campus in Lyle, like we were in an Islamic bubble. And I feel like prior to ALIM, I always thought I was in an Islamic bubble within my community, because all my friends are Muslim, my family friends all Muslim, it's just our community. But being at ALIM and everybody was there for the sake of Allah and the sake of learning was like a different kind of feeling. Like we all had the same intentions or similar intentions, and leaving was really interesting because I had a little less than a month before I had school starting up. And so it's just a interesting transition, leaving from a Islamic bubble, going to my senior year of high school, where now I'm like closer to being on my own. And it was kind of a taste of independence as well. And it was just a very new experience for me.
Yeah. MashaAllah. No, sometimes when we say bubble, I think it implies, mashallah, we got Abdul Aziz and the counselor premier, Sister Mikael Jones in here, mashallah. Gonna come to Sheikh Abdul Aziz in just a minute. But no, to your point, sometimes when we use the term bubble, we make it sound like it's like undesirably fake, when in actuality, it might just be a space where we can get some reinforcement, right? You know, it's sometimes good to be in a space where you don't have to explain every aspect of your worldview, right? In many spaces that we enter now, if a person believes in God, they have some explaining to do. Like some college campuses, some classes, you walk into the class as a believer in God, and people are like, how? Why? Right? And even though you might be able to speak competently about why you, in fact, believe, it still is exhausting to always explain why you believe, why do you cover, why do you do that, why do you. Whereas to be in that bubble for a bit, you get a little reinforcement so that it's like you're revived, you're rejuvenated when you have to go out and face, you know, the questions, the stares, the confusion that you inevitably face. So I appreciate, you know, that reflection. MashaAllah, of course, we're coming to the baby whisperer. You know, this sister has the best touch with children of anyone I've ever seen. I was watching Sister Reem and thinking, she should like come out with like a chain of like daycares or something called like Reams or something like that, and just based on what we know of her, the brand will be successful, mashallah. But Sister Reem, what has your, because you went back, you returned to Michigan, right?
Yeah.
What has your post-ALIM experience been like?
Assalamu alaikum. I was actually just gonna ask you about your children and see how they were doing.
Yeah. Well, right now they're very, very happy because while we're recording this, they get to watch television. Because you know, their mom is out and I'm doing this, so I let them watch some TV. So they're right now, I'm sure they're pleased. But overall, I think they're doing well. And I will tell them that you asked about them.
Yeah, please do. Hi guys, if you guys are watching. And also my mom does have a daycare, so I actually take care of kids a lot.
So how?
Yeah.
I called it. Well, I'm thinking to myself, something is going on here. No, sometimes when you see something, you say, no, something is going on here. This is not just beginner's luck or something like that. It's something. She has something. Something is going on. So I knew it was something.
Alhamdulillah, my post ALIM journey, it actually has been great. We've been doing these like little meetings with Sister Kate where we like review our ALIM notes. And those are like really nice. Like it's nice to like refresh your memory after leaving the ALIM program. I went over my notes like a couple of times. And also I like go, I don't know how to explain this, but like I basically like volunteer at a masjid where I like ehfaz and like help people learn Quran.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, it's like mostly Pakistani old women and children. And like they don't speak English or Arabic, so like it's kind of like hard to like still like, you know, like communicate. But yeah, I still get the job done, alhamdulillah. But yeah, that's it. Now my life is really boring.
MashaAllah. You know, like nothing honors knowledge like action, like service. So to hear that you're actually teaching, and teaching, you know, a population that might really be, you know, overlooked, you know, in our, you know, programmatic, you know, efforts, I think says something about you, says something about, you know, whoever is, you know, devising that programming at the masjid. And I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very happy to hear that you guys are reviewing your ALIM notes with Sister Kate. That's what's up. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Brother Abdul Aziz, mashallah. I remember the main descriptor I remember from the program is quietly probably the smartest person in the room. Brother Abdul Aziz, mashallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Alaikum
barakatuh.
salam wa
Jazakallah,
rahmatullahi wa
brother.
barakatuh. No, alhamdulillah. So we'll pose the ALIM reflections.
Alhamdulillah, the ALIM it had profound impact on me personally and spiritually. And also before ALIM, it was very challenging for me as I was also like, I'm here, it's just first year for me in the States. And I was already as a resident assistant of my university in the university's mosque. So there were many students and many community persons used to come me and have questions. Like I didn't knew Islam. I just knew that there are 5 salahs, there are 5 pillars of Islam. That's what all I knew. I just knew how to read the Quran, and this was something that I needed like badly. And when I got to like the different subjects from Sirah to Islamic intellectual history and also Islam in America, the way it gave me to adopt the culture in Islam, to know how the Islam is practiced here, and also the different subjects like disease of heart and medicine of heart, like from Imam Majid's lectures, that gave me confidence from the ALIM program, that how I can go back and serve my community. Even I took, it was intensive course. We have covered many subjects, but it was like enough for me to like have understanding on that, and to go through that lectures and come back. And now like after coming from ALIM, I have like every day after Isha, I have like giving lessons to my to fellow mates and also other persons who comes to masjid. And also whatever the lectures I've learned from ALIM, I'm trying to apply myself. And also it's just not helping me, also it's helping for the community as well. And it's a long it was a long and it was a good journey, ALIM. And not only the brotherhood there was very interesting that I was in.
Interesting can mean a lot of things. You know,
Yeah.
we can be interesting like it was fascinating, or
Yeah, like
I really didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying?
as an example, I would say that whenever we used to sit for lunch or dinner between the classes or after classes, we used to discuss what we learned all the day during the class. And yeah, that was like a revision, and it was like amazing to be in that brotherhood.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, very good. Sister Mikhail, we know that this was not your first time at ALIM. This wasn't your first rodeo. This wasn't anything that was new to you. But you're here, and we would be remiss if we didn't get, we didn't get some commentary, some reflections, some thoughts from you, inshallah. So what did you, how did you find being a counselor this year? But this is your second time being a counselor, right?
No, this is my second year, first time being a counselor. Yeah.
Okay, second year, first time being a counselor. What was that experience like?
Ooh, first of all, assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hi. So good to see your faces. It was I think like in community settings, we talk so much about being of service and things like that, and you sometimes don't like taste the reality of that. And during this summer program, I tasted it. It's like, how do you show up in the best of trying the best of character and adab while being, sleep deprived and doing a billion things at once, But alhamdulillah, there are really so many beautiful, beautiful souls in this program that made it easy for me and everybody else on the staff. But yeah, it was definitely a huge lesson in just showing up and like the realities of being in a position of service, especially with young people. And yeah, it also just made me realize how just how much I love my peoples, you know, too, as well. Cause like I'm really like curious about like their like what they're returning to and hearing like how how this program has still settled in their heart in such a beautiful way has been really heartwarming for me to hear as well. So yeah.
Inshallah. Alhamdulillah. No, I always say, man, that for people who teach, I think it is a correct assumption to imagine or to connect teaching with some of that prophetic legacy, right? But it's really about service, right? And if you're teaching and serving, then you have a greater share of that prophetic inheritance, and you really feel that people part, you know, that management of, you know, people's needs, people's sensitivities, sensibilities, shortcomings. And I'm sure this year, as a counselor, you definitely experienced that.
Yeah, and also just finding like really beautiful creative ways to connect, because I'm not the kind of like get in front of everybody and just rah 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 kind of person, but I think and I was trying to find different ways to show up and let the sisters know that I was a presence for them, or tried to be. So we had like halakas in our apartment, and people would come through and chill, and that was a nice way to develop community and just learn about each other. So yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Only in a Mikael Jones halakha can you talk about the Sirah, plus top 5 MCs of all time, plus, you know, Allahu Akbar. A very
when we spoke about this, you only gave me 4. I'm still waiting on the 5th one, but it's all good. It's all good. Next year show.
I have to think about the last to round out that quintet, inshallah. Sister Kenyana, you've been coming on the camera, off the camera. I don't know if you're present. You are on the camera, but you're driving.
Yes.
Salam alaikum.
Yeah, I'm driving. Walaikum assalam. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm driving my stepson to practice right now, so I've been like on and off.
Okay.
I'm here. I've been listening. I just had my camera off, but I am here and present.
Well, I don't, if you're driving, we want to give you, all of the space you need to focus on that. If you want to offer some, reflections post ALIM, we'd love to hear them. But I know it's sometimes difficult to multitask. You have your stepson there. You're driving. You're on camera, but yeah, it's totally up to you.
It's okay. Yeah, I'll just share very quickly. I feel like post ALIM, I just feel like my soul is just more calmer, and I find myself dickering a lot more, and just be more conscious and aware of things. Even if I find myself gossiping, I'm wait, that's not okay. Let me not do that. And I try to say something nice about somebody. So I just feel like I'm more aware and more in a really, really good space. Probably the most peaceful state I've ever been in. So yeah.
Alhamdulillah. May Allah give you more and more peace, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah. We got Yusuf Hasab al-Nabi. MashaAllah. Because we took some commentary from Mikael, and she was a counselor. This was your second ALIM program, first year being a counselor, and all of you, led by Sister Halima. This was not her first year being a counselor. We did a phenomenal job. I really loved seeing how you cared for the brothers, like the way Mikael cared for the brothers and the sisters. And you also cared for, just all of the participants of the program. But I'm interested in your reflections, man. What are you thinking?
Yeah, subhanAllah. I don't think you're ever ready or prepared for what ALIM entails as a student or as a facilitator. And this is coming from somebody who did the program the previous year. But coming back in that kind of staff role was so transformative for me on a personal level, more so than maybe the academic and ilm, like Islamic ilm aspect, but more the the things I've learned about myself that ilm helped facilitate.
I see. MashaAllah. I guess you learned so much about yourself that you disappeared. MashaAllah. you know, he learned so much about himself that and he reappeared and disappeared again. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. So quick rounds of questions. Anybody can chime in. What were your most memorable, what were the most memorable moments, memorable questions? What stands out? Could be quotes, could be points of clarity intellectually. What were the most memorable? So, Reem, what do you remember most about Alim?
There was one actually. It was like my favorite memory. It was when it was in Dr. Jackson's class. It was like on his last day. We all it was like the day before, and then we were like he did this thing where if someone walked in late to class, he would make them write a poem and say it in front of the entire class. And so a day before his last day, we were all in the WhatsApp group chat. We were like, let's just write a poem for Dr. Jackson. And so we wrote a poem for Dr. Jackson, and everyone did their part, and it was so emotional. Everyone started crying. It was such an awesome day. It was so wholesome.
He told me about this. Now, mind you, this is someone that I've known for about 20 years, right? Because I went to the program in 2005. So I've known him because I actually met him at the ALIM program. I've known him for 19, 20 years. And I immediately was impressed with him, and I wanted him to become my mentor immediately, right? So we've retained very close communication over the last couple of decades. I've been with him in Cairo, been with him in Spain. We've been around. I've never seen him become emotional in a classroom.
That's actually what Halima said.
This is someone that I know extremely well. I've never seen him become emotional in a classroom. So when he mentioned to me that the poem was so moving that he was emotionally affected by this, of course, I didn't want to make him feel self-conscious about it. So I wasn't like, damn, what did you do? I just said, subhanallah, right? But of course, in my mind, I was thinking, man, what happened, right? But I didn't want to make him feel self-conscious about it, so I didn't press it. But now that he isn't here, and you guys are here, what happened?
It was I think the thing that got to him the most is because when he was teaching us in class, he would use these little references, and people actually put those in the poems.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was stuff that he taught us in class that was actually also in the poems. So that's what kind of made it so cool. And then I don't know, everything just got so emotional, and it was just a whole thank you, and it was just so cool. Oh, and guess whose idea it was?
Whose idea was it?
Me.
I'm thinking you're pointing at another one of the boxes. I'm like, is she pointing to Salwa or Medina? I'm like, is it up? Okay. Yeah. Oh, mashallah.
It was actually really nice. I really enjoyed that.
Alhamdulillah. Huda, what was that probably, if that happened, if seeing as though that happened, the way that Reem mentioned it, I think that would be the most memorable thing for everybody. But is there anything else that stands out to you as particularly memorable about this year's ALIM program?
You know, they asked me this question when doing testimonials as well, and I think it's the hardest question for me to answer, to be honest, because I think like ALIM as a whole was so impactful to me that I kind of like have a really difficult time thinking about the individual like aspects of it that I loved so much. Like I kind of get overwhelmed almost. But subhanAllah, there were so many moments. I think the poem happened like a week into the program for us when we had our last class with Dr. Jackson. And I think it was really impactful because it also made us realize like how much everything was affecting us, and to like revisit what we had learned with Dr. Jackson, and then like try to like put one line with something that you took away from it into a poem. And then I can't remember if we mentioned this, but when we did the poem, what we did is like we all wrote our lines and like combined into a poem, and then we read our own lines in the class, so like one person went after another. So I think like moments like that were really impactful. And then the thing I guess that I'll say other than the poem that was really impactful to me was actually that day that you came. It was only a few days into the program, but you came after you got back to Chicago from the airport to chat with us for an hour, I think before or after Maghrib. And that was really impactful to me because I feel like as sisters, sometimes we don't have access to scholars in the same ways. And I still try to, you know, if I have a question, I still try to get it answered. But you don't really feel that sense of accessibility. And I think it affects us more than we realize. And it affects your Islam because you feel like you don't really have like this ability to ask questions that are not extremely important. Like unless I really need to go out of my way and check something that's affecting my daily life, I just won't do it. And even though I didn't, like I remember when I was sitting in the halqa, I was thinking like, do I have any questions? Like I better ask them now. But like I didn't have any questions. But you know, it was very impactful to have you, an Ustadh, come to us and just spend time with us. And so yeah, like
I don't know about, I mean, it could have been, you know, anyone, but I do know that having that unstructured time with people that you can just kind of like converse with, it's different than like a Q&A session after a lecture, you know, because, you know, people are there and you feel like you say pressure to ask like significant questions, but just to be able to, and also too, one of the things that I always wanted to know as a, you know, I mean, I'm still a young Muslim. I don't know what y'all, I used to be a young Muslim. I'm still a young Muslim, you know. But one of the things that I want to know as a young Muslim is just how are other people living this religion? You know, like, and just being in conversation with them gives me the ability to just listen to, okay, how do you in real time live this, breathe this, you know? And I feel like sometimes sisters don't get access, at least to male scholars, in the same way. But this year, I mean, you guys, mashallah, had Dr. Hadia Mubarak, you had Ustadh Zainab Ansari, you know, Ustadh Zainab Ansari is a force of nature. You know, she comes in, we're going to start this with some dhikr. She's Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Definitely just inestimable as a teacher and as a sister. But I do know that access sometimes is not it doesn't come as easily for sisters as it does for brothers. Sister Mariam, mashallah, checking in from ATL.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's so good to see you all again.
Alhamdulillah, it's good to be seen, good to be present with everyone. Your post-ALIM reflection. You thought that by coming on late, you were going to get out of this? No, we wouldn't do that. Your post
I
island,
had to show up.
your post island reflections.
I'm glad. So it's been my post island reflection. I feel like ALIM sprung on me like last minute. Like I only found out about ALIM like 2 days before it started, and I feel like Allah really opened up a door for me to come here and learn about Him in a way that I never learned about Him before. And it's what I needed at that exact moment in my life. And when the day I got to ALIM and like I was around everyone, I feel like my heart like changed overnight. And it was like a scary feeling because it was like something that was weighing on me so heavy for the past few months. And for it to just like change overnight, it just felt like, okay, what is this? And it's like I was nervous about coming back to Atlanta after that. But alhamdulillah, the transition has been well. Like I feel like I've been easing back into it, and I feel like I've tried my best to like implement the habits that I learned from the sohbah that I had there. Like around, I feel like the sohbah was really impactful for me. And all the sisters and friends that.
And how's the artwork?
Oh, it's coming. It's about to be shipped to you soon.
Bismillah. I need a piece. I got a space for it. Yeah, I got a space for it. Yeah. So mashallah, we're just talking about things that were memorable in the program. Hussein, man, what was one of the most memorable bits of the program?
I'm not gonna lie, this whole time I was sitting down trying to think of my answer. And it's just like what you said, it's such a hard question because there's just like so much that like every day I'm realizing a different part of the program that's impacting me right now. And so I don't know which one to pick. I think I'm gonna go with the answer that I gave during the program when somebody asked, which equally as impactful as everything else was the real sense of community. Like there's this one moment where I was sitting with the brothers, and like we were just so vulnerable with each other, and like I realized like what that real brotherly love felt like, and something, especially just being with Muslim brothers, something that I don't really experience outside of that space. And I realized the importance of holding on to this. And so it's funny, Ibrahim mentioned something before he hopped off, which was like you're coming back with a different perception, but everybody else around you still has the same perception. And so I'm realizing it's very important for me to stay connected. You mentioned this the last day, Ustadh, build that network, stay connected with the people that you've.
Mashallah. Yeah.
It was noticing just how important it is to be around these individuals and trying to hold on to that.
No doubt about it. I feel exactly the same, mashallah. Sister Salwa, memorable moments. What stuck out? What stuck out?
SubhanAllah, as my brothers and sisters were talking, it felt like I was going through like different moments like with them in remembering those similar things, and I tried to carve out some unique memory. But honestly, if I could think about one of the most impactful memories was at the end, I have to, Dr. Jackson's class, subhanAllah, may Allah bless him and increase him.
Amen.
And I felt that similar connection to him through that class. The end of class, I just broke down, subhanAllah. The end of that Sirah class.
Yo, man, I gotta get the video.
And it wasn't even, we didn't even, subhanAllah, we didn't even get, this is not even, like, aside from the poem, when he was talking about the passing of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and had gone through this entire, even get emotional thinking about it, we went through this entire journey, right? When he taught that class, he taught us to learn, to witness the Sirah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as if you were in the time with him. Mm-hmm. And so it was the first time I had experienced getting to know Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this lens, right? And not only just that, but also to be able to learn it from a teacher who I understood the language, right? And and cultural context in which he was teaching it from the angle. So there was things that he was saying, and one of the things that I really felt so deeply, like some of the terms that he would use, like the thing I was saying earlier, being embedded into the imagination of, right? How as Muslims do we become embedded into the imagination of, right? And that really impacted me as somebody who is who's a creative who loves to build communities generally, right? SubhanAllah. But that class, Dr. Jackson himself as a phenomenal teacher and scholar and sheikh, but that, SubhanAllah, I remember looking around to my other classmates as well. And I think this ties to another amazing piece is I've learned, not only did I learn so much from the scholars, but I learned so much from the students themselves, their souls, SubhanAllah. It really makes you look at yourself and say, I got some work to do, okay? Because I saw some students who were bawling, SubhanAllah, for their love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for their love for this deen, the eagerness. You really see the talents that Allah put in each and every single one of the students, and I think that's something that we can often overlook when we can become so infatuated, with certain things. Oh, let me try to. But when you really are able to be grounded in the way that Alim grounds you, you can really honor, appreciate the expertise, authority, and grace of our teachers. But you also could really honor the talents that Allah put in each and every single one of the students. And I just pray that I'm able to obtain just a dustling of the beauty that they have.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. There's al-mu'minu mir'atul mu'mini. The believer is the mirror of the believer. So seeing other people and seeing their virtue, and then looking, at oneself and thinking of places you need to grow, things that you need to work on, is one of the most beneficial aspects of suhbah, of companionship. Sister Medina, memories.
So there's so many to choose from, but I think for me, Imam Munir's classes were so they were so different than what I expected. Before coming, I heard he was super strict, he's so scary, and one of those teachers who you're just afraid of. In his classes, I think I laughed so much, and it was just so easy to learn from him. And being able to laugh in his classes, I feel also kind of humanized the scholars. In a way, I feel sometimes when I'm learning about Islam or such such strong topics, it's sometimes you forget the scholars are human just like you. And so I think being able to laugh in those classes and have inside jokes with the class and the scholars was something that just something that I cherish a lot. So
MashaAllah. No, alhamdulillah. Imam Munir's classes, I must say, are always referenced as one of the most memorable aspects of the ALIM program, because at first blush, it might even strike someone as irreverent, right? And then when you really think about it, it's not that it's irreverent, but it's trying to push people toward clarity about what should actually be revered and what perhaps are just the byproducts of history. What perhaps are the arbitrary or incidental aspects of the tradition, and what is the essence, the quintessence, the core of the tradition. And he has a humorous and provocative way of doing that. May Allah bless him. But I've only seen good come out of Imam Munir's teaching, mashallah. Abdul Aziz, alhamdulillah,
My memorable moment was the capstone day, as it was the last day in that classroom, and also it was a series of meetings that we needed to meet with our team and work on the projects, and also the day where I got to know a lot of views from all the cohorts, and also the best presentation from Mariam, team Mariam, and I guess Fatima Shahid was it was most memorable.
Well, she took off the hijab, but she had another hijab under it. I said, okay, they're going all out. I said, they're going all out for this. Alhamdulillah. No, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I'm going to get a closing reflection and just advice that you would give to people considering registering for next year's ALIM program, but I need to get the adapter for this laptop. So, this isn't just a conversation with me and you guys. Other people are also attending. So if somebody wants to begin that advice to people considering ALIM, they want to talk about kind of what ALIM did for them and why the ALIM Summer Program is a good summer plan for somebody considering augmenting or enhancing their knowledge of Islam. We will start with Mariam, inshallah. And I'm going to grab the cord and come right back, inshallah.
I'm first. Well, for me, ALIM was, before ALIM, I was like trying so hard to like gain this sense of like yaqeen and clarity in Islam. And when I came to ALIM, I felt like I really achieved that in a way that I didn't like expect to achieve that. And it really instilled so much like inspiration and hope, and like it showed me the depths of like servitude and what servitude to Allah looks like for us, and like how true servitude actually changes us, and how much it does for us, and how like capable we are of being in like a deep amount of servitude to Allah. And I felt like it was like the last hour I was at ALIM. My flight was at 5 a.m. and I was talking to Jodo at 4 a.m. And that talk with Jodo really like sealed the deal for me. Like everything I learned at ALIM really came full circle. And it's like the amount of like inspiration and hope that she poured into me in that last hour that I was at ALIM really changed me. And I feel like I'm still like seeing the fruits of what Allah like put her to tell me that in that moment. And I've been seeing like seeing what servitude is in another person, like how it impacts them, like just shows you like how capable we are as servants to serve Him. And I felt the Sirah class was really also very amazing. I felt like I learned Sirah classes before, but if you think you learned Sirah before Dr. Jackson's class, you haven't, honestly. It's like you're in the Sirah with them and you're living life. Like in our life, we see the tools and how to navigate our life and all the problems that we have through the Sirah with Him. There's so many tools that we need to implement in our society today that is in the Sirah for us right there. And Ustadh Ubaidullah's classes are also amazing, and the way like he's there, it makes you like open up and ask like what's on your heart, and the way the answers that he gives you, it's like the in-depth understanding that you get from him and the way he explains things to you. Alhamdulillah. So it's been a great experience for me. Who's next?
I'll take the mic and we'll pass it to whoever. One thing I think about is, Dr. Jackson, when he started his classes, he'd always reassure us that we came in as Muslims and we're going to leave as Muslims. And that's so important because throughout the classes, a lot of our, misconceptions are exposed, and things that we believe were fundamental to Islam, we're like learning that's not the case. And in my case, it's not that I came in as a Muslim and I left as a Muslim, but I left with like a stronger conviction. Like there's this part of you, and I don't want to sound too crazy or blasphemous, but like there's this part of you before the program where it's just like why am I Muslim? Is it simply because I was born into this out of coincidence? In that case, what if I was born into anything else? That class saying, I want to be Muslim and I want to go above and beyond. And that's what I could say is, you come in as a Muslim, if you don't just stay as a Muslim, you leave with a conviction. Like now you understand how this truly is a way of life. That's the thing. Everyone always says Islam is not a religion, it's a way of life. And I never understood that phrase. I'd quote it and I tell other people, but now it's like, I get it. It's a way of life. It's not this institution. And so that's my way to sum it.
No, I didn't get a chance to hear Mariam's reflection, but I'm sure it was profound. I'll go back and have to catch it on the recording. I did catch the tail end of Hussein's reflection. And I think for me, attending a program like ALIM, it gives me an opportunity to think about why I chose this religion. Especially for a convert, among many others, that I could have been similarly compelled by, and why I feel compelled to raise my children, within, this faith. And so, definitely same vibes. Sister Green, the baby whisperer. The baby whisperer. What advice, what would you offer someone who was thinking about the ALIM Summer Program?
I would definitely say do it. Like, once you get the chance, do it. And when you do it, make sure to write everything down. And I mean everything down. Because there was some classes where I was like tired, or like I just didn't feel like writing anything, and now I'm back and I just feel like I regret this so much, and I wish I took every single second of those classes and not waste my time on breaks and stuff and actually write the stuff down, because you'll actually like really need it. But alhamdulillah, like I got a decent amount of notes. Like alhamdulillah, I got like a lot of good notes, but my advice would definitely be to write everything down, because you will definitely need that later when you have like questions, or like, just want to go back and read it or whatever.
That's, one of our teachers, he used to tell us, don't take copious notes like during the lecture, because you're gonna miss something. Like, you're writing, you're so busy. He said, but you have to, Allahu Akbar, our Sheikh has arrived. He's looking like, Mom, we're talking about me. Mom, this is me. Sheikh Anwar Sultan. Alhamdulillah, we were, right now, Reem is sending him like telepathic comfort. Just, all the way from Michigan, she's doing something, and Sheikh Anwar is just becoming calm, all the way from. So I won't say. So why would you do that as I'm doing this? Sorry. Alhamdulillah, Sheikh Anwar, we were gladdened by the news of your successful procedure. Alhamdulillah, you are out of the hospital. The head of hair is still completely full, mashallah. And your mother seems as joyous and happy as always. Sister Halima, Alimat, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, Ustadh. I'm doing well. Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters here. I just wanted to come in real quick and say assalamu alaikum to everyone, and just say jazakallah khairan to Ustadh for his love and kindness towards all of us, and to all of you for all the beautiful hard work that you're doing post ALIM. Like Ustadh Ubaydullah, you should see them meeting and reviewing their notes. They really have me like.
Reem mentioned. She mentioned her, Sister Kate, some other sisters reviewing the notes. Okay, well, it's not that I'm not intellectually original, but I just agree with everything Sheikh Anwar said.
Mashallah. I just wanted to say salams and just say that I have so much love for all of you and praying for each and every one of you. And we all miss all of you. And we just can't wait to see the beautiful work that you all are going to be doing in your communities, inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much for gracing us with your virtual presence tonight and bringing our Sheikh Anwar Sultan, to spend time with us. Alhamdulillah. But to your point, Sister Reem, about note taking, they say that being an effective note taker is really about learning to write in shorthand, learning to write just very quick notations that just jog your memory, so that you're not like writing out like whole quotes. You're just writing short things that. And if you really want to know where this becomes like, I had like an aha moment with this. I was trying to read like a classical Islamic legal text, and then I realized these texts are just notes. There's actually, these are just like things that the person that is writing the text is just writing like notes, so that they can teach this to somebody in person. These are not, a lot of these like classical books are not written with the intention that a person is going to read them by themselves. These are just notes of the teacher, to be able to look and just teach you. And that's how good notes are normally taken, right? MashaAllah. Sister Salwa, we're coming, I'm passing it around. We only got a few more minutes left. We're not going to keep everybody too long, but, your recommendation of the ALIM Summer Program, and why would you or would you not? Like, this doesn't, we're not forcing politeness onto everyone who attended. Why or why not, perhaps, would you recommend the ALIM Summer Program?
SubhanAllah, ALIM is for the seeker. ALIM is for the unserious, unsure. And ALIM is for the serious. ALIM is for the certain. And ALIM is for somebody who is willing, right, to go on a journey, who's willing and ready, and not even unready. I feel like that's the beautiful thing about the ALIM space, is that there were so many people who are in so many different fields. It's an intergenerational space as well. It's not just this is just the high school students, the college. I actually was nervous about that before the program. I was like, college students, yes, a lot of high school students will be sitting there. Which I have done, been the older kid in the class, doing my Elif bad task, with the 6-year-olds. But it wasn't that, subhanAllah. So I think ALIM is not for everyone. It's not. If you got a certain mindset and you're not willing to really be open to exploring and critically think through your deen, I think essentially ALIM is not for the person who does not want to critically think through their Islam. Period. Okay, but if you are somebody,
say it slow so you can say it some more.
Right. ALIM is not for the person who doesn't want to critically think through their Islam. Like Hussein was saying, Dr. Jackson had told us, you want to enter this class, but we almost got him too. He was like, hold on, you saying tweaking and what's going on with these certain words? Can you say adjustments? Right? Give some adjustments, right? So I was up for that, but ALIM is for the person who is at various levels. Like you were saying, when you started the program, you were, in this transition or pivoting into full-time seeking for that. So there's people who gone to Zaytuna who have done seminary. I haven't done seminary. I just did after school program. I just did weekend school, right? And so ALIM definitely meets people where they're at. I will also say, for those who are thinking about doing ALIM, 100% take the leap, no matter where you are at. Make the intentions. I will shout out my mom. My mom is my biggest supporter, my biggest sponsor, my biggest everything. And she actually was the one who pulled my coat and was like, you've been talking about this learning thing for a while, you're not making no moves. And this was the move I made, and Allah opened the door for me, alhamdulillah, and I think it's through that, right? Through that encouragement. So inshallah, I pray that all of us continue to purify our intentions as we go on this journey, because it doesn't stop. But ALIM is for sure, I think coming back is a once in a lifetime opportunity. There is no redo. There is no redo ALIM. There is no redo ALIM. So, and I think that's what makes this program special. Is that you have 1 month, right, to get it. So I encourage, for those who are thinking about it, to take that leap, inshallah, for the sake of Allah and for themselves, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, mashallah. No, I can't find anything disagreeable about that. You know, I know if we were just thinking about this from a purely marketing vantage point, I would have said, no, don't say ALIM is in for everybody. ALIM is for all paying students. No, but in reality, ALIM is not there. I don't think anything that has an identity, I don't think anything that has, hold on 1 second. Son.
Yes.
You realize I'm recording something, son?
Am I talking that loud?
You are.
Sorry.
I don't think anything that has a character or has an identity, has a flavor, is for everybody, right? Water is for everybody. Because water now look, water is essential. Water is essential, but it's for everybody because it doesn't have a taste. It doesn't have a taste. When something has a taste, some people will like it and some people won't. That's the nature of having a taste, right? I think ALIM definitely has a flavor, right? It has a taste. You were talking about seminarians, Zaytunis, mashallah. Sister Huda, you're at Zaytuna? Oh, you just live in the Bay.
Yeah, I just live in the Bay. I think Anzar is at Zaytuna.
Yeah, mashallah.
Now it's Sirah.
Mashallah. Okay, when you said that you were living in the Bay, I think I jumped to the conclusion, oh, she must be a Zaytuni.
No, there's some of us who are in Zaytuna here. No, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. You know, you attend the ALIM over the summer. Would you recommend the program? Why or why not?
I would definitely recommend the program. I've recommended it to so many people at this point that I'm concerned that you guys will only have people from California next year. But I would absolutely recommend the program. Actually, Salwa sharing that that how ALIM is for both the serious and unserious, I feel like is a great example of learning from other students, because I came into ALIM at a time, it's just so happened, I'm not like this with everything in my life very, very candidly, but it's just so happened that ALIM came for me when I was very serious about this. I felt like I really needed something like this. And subhanAllah, I think I shared this with a few people, but when I was sitting at ALIM, so many of the days, I just was thinking this is the answer to my du'as. I felt like I needed something like this for so long. But sometimes those things also come when you're not paying attention. You don't realize you need it. And I guess my advice to people is in the same vein that Asad was going. I think ALIM is for the humble. I think if you're willing to learn, then it will have an effect on you whether you realize you're ready or not. And I don't think that you will be able to leave without being a changed person. So my advice is to just do it. It was absolutely life-changing for me. And one of the most amazing things about ALIM is that you come in and you're treated as a student of knowledge, even if you didn't realize you were going to be one. And it's a very humbling experience, and it makes you realize that it makes you think of yourself in a different way. It makes you think of yourself with dignity and responsibility.
No, it's amazing how you could be in a setting and you could be locked in, you're really trying to engage intentionally, and you gain something from that. But then you also gain when you're not locked in, it's almost like this residual benefit that just comes to you from being in a good place. You know how people say wrong place at the wrong time? There's also a right place at the right time. I just happened to be, I wasn't really serious. I wasn't thinking about this in that way, but somehow I needed to hear that. Somehow I needed to learn that. So I love what Sugla said about the serious and the unserious, the intentional and the unintentional, I think can take place in a setting like ALIM, mashallah. And Sister Medina, as we wind down, coming to you from the great state of, you're in Michigan, right?
Yeah, Michigan.
The great state of Michigan, right? Would you recommend the program? Why or why not?
I think I absolutely would. Like, I would recommend it to everybody, because I think coming into ALIM, I was a little bit nervous, but going through the classes and the community and the bonding, not only did I grow a relationship with learning about Deen, but I think I made learning about Deen, but knowing why I'm learning about it and falling more in love with it. And I think before coming to ALIM, I was I'm learning a lot more progressively over the last, especially 2 years. And this just pushed me a little bit more. And I think that everybody can benefit from it differently, because we're all at different states in or places in our Islamic knowledge and our iman, and it's a good boost as well as a push, a constant push of why, understanding why you're learning and loving Islam.
Alhamdulillah. Well, there you have it. Oh wait, Abdul Aziz, you thought he was smiling, thinking maybe he was gonna get away. Never. No one escapes unscathed. Recommend the program, yes or no, and why?
Yeah, I would definitely say yes, join in. If I would strongly encourage to go for it. It's a unique opportunity, one-time opportunity to deepen your understanding of Islam in supporting environment. The knowledge you will gain, especially in the areas like Sirah, like how Prophet Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gone through, and also in the ulum al-Quran and aqidah, that is basic requirement one must have. And the experience is just academic. It's also a chance to connect with like-minded individuals, build lifelong friendships, and also grow spiritually. And also be ready to immerse yourself in the learning process, ask questions, be open-minded, and participate in discussions. And also I would like to say, to face the cohorts like Brother Ajmal, be ready. Yeah.
Brother Ajmal was very technical in his understanding of things, and just a wonderfully quirky, unique individual with one of the most memorable monotone voices I've ever heard in my life. And I think I saw him and Malachi having some kind of exchange. And I said, man, the Brotherhood of Islam is real. Some kind of very enjoyable exchange, and it was just clear that they were brothers. And I said, man, the Brotherhood of Islam is real. You know what I mean? So, alhamdulillah. For anybody watching, I just want to say that nobody on this call tonight was paid. Not even me. Nobody on this call tonight was paid. These were people who spoke about their experience at ALIM. And as the old saying goes, the proof is in the pudding. That's a common expression, but I find that some people don't know what it means. It means that if you have made a dessert, you don't have to actually tell people how hard you worked on it. You don't have to tell people how diligently you prepared it, how hard it was to find just the right ingredients. You don't have to say anything. The only thing you have to say is taste it. Just taste it. All of my hard work, all of my dedication, all of my excellence is in the taste, right? If you taste it, you will taste everything that I'm talking about. We at ALIM have been talking for maybe more than 20 years, 25 years. I think the ALIM program has been in existence a quarter century, oh my God, about what we do. And some people, of course, listen to those presentations and they are compelled by them. Some people maybe not compelled as much, but tonight we got to hear from people who tasted the program and who, of their own volition, decided to come spend an entire evening of their extremely precious time talking about what they gained from the ALIM program, what they benefited. I just love being in conversation with just good brothers and good sisters, intelligent brothers and intelligent sisters. And I'm looking forward to what each of you does, post, ALIM. Whether it has a direct connection to Islam or an indirect connection to Islam, whether it's something that is expressly Islamic. Someone is texting something funny because Reem and Medina are laughing. Somebody is messaging something funny on the low. You feel me? But whether it is directly connected to Islam or indirectly connected to Islam, I hope that your experience at ALIM gave you an understanding of the Islamic that is broader than just legal rules or theological postulates, but rather, as Hussein said, is representative of a comprehensive way of being in the world that expresses itself, in everything that we do, right? So, Jazakumullahu kull khair. This was wonderful, and inshallah, we will get to do this again soon.
Our capstone is in the works. Our Mobile capstone project.
Okay, Bismillah.
Inshallah.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah. So I'm going to close out with a dua, but don't jump off immediately because Aisha Darbo, one of the women responsible for this programming, just came on. Salam alaikum. MashaAllah. Thank you for all of your hard work on behalf of Frames. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal-Asr. إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. MashaAllah. And I assume that Ustadh Aisha has some announcements.
Yes, I do. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you all for joining us and sharing those beautiful reflections. I just really have a couple of announcements to stay connected to ALIM Monthly. Of course, we have the Frames program. We also have the ALIM Book Club. If you go to alimprogram.org, you can register there to join us monthly for the book club with Ustadh Ubaydullah. Always have wonderful selections selected by Sister Whitney. And you can join there to stay connected. You can also already begin to sign up and share your interest in joining the summer program 2025. As you heard from the students, what they benefited from the program. I was having so much nostalgia from my experience, alhamdulillah. And so you can start planning now to take those 3 weeks off in the summer and join the ALIM Summer Program next year, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan to all of you for joining us. Jazakallah for facilitating Ustadh Ubaydullah, and inshallah you all have a great evening.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam.